The hypocrisy of getting rid of undocumented immigrants. Many of you are really hypocritical. And let me finish, because a lot of you, when you co-articulate intelligently contrarian views, you automatically assume, oh, he's a Democrat, a liberal, this and that, to deflect and not listen to the facts. I am a constitutional republic. I don't consider myself a MAGA Republican simply because a lot of you are being misled and you don't even see it. So a lot of you believe the media in which they're feeding you lies, and they're the ones that are controlling part of America. Before you judge me, read what I wrote, because I articulate better in writing as an author, as a writer. But, things are not black and white. Okay, you got to understand that a lot of the blowbacks we have of immigrants coming over has to do a lot because we invaded their country via coups. We stolen their natural resources, their oil. You have no idea what we've done in Latin America, from Nicaragua to El Salvador, Venezuela, Cuba, and we go with the hypocrisy of spreading democracy, when right here in America, me that you're looking at, right, look light skinned, I'm Puerto Rican. My people were Arawak Taino, Native Americans, and we were divided, okay, into what you know today as Cubans, Dominicans, Jamaican, Puerto Rican, and so forth. And our people ran all the way from Georgia, South Carolina, Georgia. And how we know that? Because our language is written in stone, in caves and all that. But that's besides the point. The point is that a lot of these immigrants, you're not paying your taxes, paying whatever you think you're paying. There's been slight information, misled information through the media, of course, because they want to manipulate you like they did back in the 1930s, okay? Read the argument that I put, all right? Because this happened before in the late 1920s and 30s, where they got rid of over 1 million Mexicans, of which they were actually Native Americans from their own lands, homes, and farms, right? And 60% were American citizens. So they came with the disguise of that. That created or worsened the Great Depression, which is what's going to happen now for those of you who are naive. And like they say, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's true, because the majority of you, I'm shameful to say, Americans, are oblivious to history. And the history that you think you know is whitewashed. Okay, so you got to become educated. Read what I wrote, because a lot of it is lie. You're being manipulated. Okay, and you're so programmed that as soon as somebody tells you a contrarian view, you attack them instead of listening, instead of researching. You believe everything you hear, and like I said, you're a hypocrite because you want to talk about immigrants that actually bring a lot to our economy. Okay, versus the lie you heard on the news. But the fact is, we are sending billions. It's a genocidal regime in Israel. We are sending billions to another Zionist leader, right? Our president of Ukraine, as well as now the Zionists running Argentina. But your taxes could go there, right? To kill children, fund this and fund that, but not to immigrants, right? You want to judge them, when reality is we're being pushed as all part of an agenda to introduce another system and get us into civil unrest and maybe even a civil war to justify shutting our economy and our country down. Wake up. This happened before. It happened in World War II as well with the Japanese. It happened with the Germans. And history keeps repeating itself. And I'm talking about here in America. I'm not even talking about Hitler and the fact that we funded the Nazis and Hitler via corporations in Wall Street. Senator Prescott Bush, George Bush, Howard Bush Sr., father, right? He was trying, convicted under the enemy, trading under the enemy act, and got slapped. And you guys are so naive. Why? Again, because you do not know history. You want to call these immigrants all illegal and all that, when no one is illegal on stolen land. This is our land. We are the actual Americans. We don't mind you being part of us, but don't be a hypocrite, okay? Because to this day, us Puerto Ricans, in our own mainland, we cannot even vote for our own president, yet we are citizens and fight for all your wars, right? So stop being a hypocrite. Learn how to be empathetic. Get out of that spirit of hate and fear and get in the spirit of love, because that's not like Christ. That's not like what Christians should be doing, right? Based on the biblical, I also write about that. And if you see, I write about a lot. So you got to become educated and informed and stop the ignorance, because you're dragging this country down. You don't realize we're hated among the world, right? We're seems arrogant. And the fact that if you think that doesn't have repercussions, because you think we're really that powerful, look at Israel. Look what they're going. They're going to be wiped out. Trust me, they're going to be wiped out. Now, I have had visions before. I don't want to sound crazy. It's all over the YouTube videos where you can see that what I've said has happened. And why? Maybe because I did have a vision, maybe because of foresight, but you guys are very naive and you don't see. Your lack of knowledge is why you will perish. I hope you wake up. Have a good night.